And eventually people get back into the stands like they love it. That, you know, it's just up to the kids really to start coming back into the stands, basically.
With all the other hosts and MCs out there doing their thing, Joe Pope, AG, Booby, Duke, Al, is it rivalry? Are you guys competing unconsciously or consciously? Is it rivalry between the hosts?
Unspoken, I think so. Me, I don't care. Like I'm untouched. Like I'm so comfortable in my zone that it doesn't matter who's good or who's bad. Like I just came to do my job, and that's that. It doesn't matter. You know, I get along with Joe Pope. I get along with Booby Smooth. I get along with Hannibal. You know, I have my own style. I know basically. You know, I'm comfortable. I'm like A-list.
Is it rivalry between the tournaments? Do you think Greg is trying to outwit Kenny, Mousy, Concho? Is it rivalry between the tournaments on the low or out in the open?
It's not a rivalry, but it is. It's not a rivalry. It's kind of like a. No, it's not even competitive. What it is a commercial. It's commercialized. Basically, sponsors are running the tournaments. People have the people that's running the tournaments have no control of their tournaments. You know, so that's why the tournaments are the way they are. The communities are being bought out by the big companies, and they're here for a couple of months. They offer some kids some money, people money, and they run out of the neighborhood and leave us dry. Like right now, you know, yeah, it's what it is, man. You know, it's basically I'm a believer of making my own money, man. I make my own way. Now, if you want to come aboard and give me that much support, it's for the kids in the community, fine. If you don't, fine.
Give me a summary of the 2012 season here at EVC. Give me your summary of it.
It was a up and down season. We had a lot of good games. The crowd was minimum. Some days they would come out when the performances was there, but basically, you know, you got your regular people that's here. They support. They come out every game, and then you have the times when the corporate people come through, and when the stars come out to perform, then you have everybody from different neighborhoods. For instance, when MGK came through, you had a whole bunch of people from Long Island come here. It was great. It was a great, chaotic, organized game.
In the past, David Stern showed up, Kobe showed up, a lot of NBA players came out. How did that make you feel being a part of that when the superstars and the legends in the park and you on the mic? What's your perception on that?
It's a blessing. It's just, you know, I think it's a blessing to actually get to meet people like Kobe, David Stearns, Bill Clinton, Bob Johnson, Denzel Washington, Queen Latifah, Jada Kiss, Jay-Z, Fat Joe. It's a blessing to see these guys come out to the park right here where all of the kids can get to meet them and greet them, take pictures. Nas came, MGK, Beyonce, Alicia Keys. It's like a beautiful thing, man, to see these people come out here and be a part of the Entertainers Basketball Classic. You know, it's just beautiful, man.
Did you have a prediction of who was going to win? Did you have a specific team in mind?
Yeah, but my team, I had two teams actually. The Polo Ground team, I predicted them to be in the championship. And the New Jersey team, I predicted them to be in the championship, actually to win it all. TMP, I didn't expect them to win it the way that they did. And Polo Grounds was a disappointment because my 5 starters on that team didn't show up at the playoff game. So, well, the schedule wasn't made up. So the players that weren't from the Polo Grounds, which were starters, were on the West Coast and other places and wasn't informed of the game. So it was difficult to get in touch with them.
Certain days it was crowded, you mentioned, because of the stars coming out. Certain days was a lackluster effort on the players. How do you feel about carrying a game?
Well, I have an issue with that because I can't carry a game. Like, the announcer can't carry the game. You can, I don't know what announcer can do this, but I know I can't. I don't know how to fake it. My thing is I go out there and I'm true to the game, man. You come out with the energy, I'm a feed off the energy. It's not you feed off my energy. And the crowd is not going to feed off my energy. Like, if the game is boring, I'll keep the crowd going because, you know, I got a few jokes and stuff like that and keep them involved in the game. But if the team is not playing to the potential and there's a whistle every 30 seconds, then it's real difficult for the crowd to get involved. So it's up to the team. It's up to the team basically to carry the tournament. And if you're coming out with these guys that they're not going to do nothing unless that paycheck is there, then your tournament is going to be ran like that.
Name your top 5 or 10 best street ballers ever, combined with now and the ones you've seen in the past at EBC. Top 5 or 10.
I'm going to go with 10. Joe Ham, Carlton Green, Moto, Nigel Wallace, Pookie Wilson, Master Rob, I'm going to jump out the window on this one, man. Steve Burt, of course Steve Burt, all day. I got Kev Williams up there. Kev Williams, I think he played with St. John's. He was a good shooting guard. He was really nice. Conrad McCray, rest in peace. Terminator, can't forget Terminator. These 2 guys was like unstoppable. Then I got Gandhi. I got to throw Gandhi Martin in there. Excellent player, really unstoppable. And I gotta pat myself on the back because I was there.
If you could pick one, just one player, you starting your franchise in street ball, give me one player, EJ.
Ola pass. Ola new. It don't matter. Nigel Wallace. Nigel Wallace was about 6'4", 6'5". He was a 2 guard, 3 guard. He ran the 1. He ran the 2. He played the 3. Excellent on defense. Excellent on offense. I seen him do it just about everything to everybody, man. It doesn't matter what player came through this park. He was the best at it. Other than Joe Hammond, because Joe Hammond had the fanfare and was a player that was unmatched. But those are my 2 players that I would start a franchise with. And then I have one more. Of course, I'm going to roll with Pookie Wilson always.
Now let's take it to mid-July. It's a shooting that took place. Was there anything that could have been done to avoid it? Maybe call a timeout, go in the stands, talk to a few spectators, yo, chill out, more police, more checkpoints. Is there anything that could have been done to prevent, that would have prevented that from happening?
Of course. Basically, when it's games, they don't have, they wasn't having the police presence inside of the park, which it should be a uniform. It kind of governs the people, you know. And I always, when the police is there, I give them their shout out, NYPD, AKA so necessary. You know, because right now we're at a point where it's a bunch of kids out here that don't care anything about and don't respect anything or anybody, whether you got a badge on or you got your church outfit on, your reverend preacher, they don't respect anything. You know, they don't respect if your mom's is walking by, they're cursing right in front of her. So, you know, it's just, you have to put it on Front Street. You have to put it on Broadway, you know, just like they do down Times Square when the terrorists, they've showed a police presence to try to put in their mind like we're here. That's what needed to be done that day. It was a very crowded day, and they didn't have enough of them up here that day. The security wasn't tight. The security wasn't tight. It could have been tighter. And then that little incident was very unexpected because it don't happen in this park. It hasn't happened. You know, that was the first incident I've ever seen of that magnitude all my 40-something years of living here. So it was, you know, unexpected, and it's a one-time event. Hopefully, you know, it won't ever happen again, and I don't think it will. But sometimes you do have knuckleheads that come into your world, you know. So we learn from it.
Now, this question is personal. With a title like the mayor, do you accept the challenge to speak on more unity and positivity, stop the violence campaigns? Do you accept that challenge with a name like EJ, the mayor?
Well, yeah, that's you know, with my education and me coming up through the ranks and running around in the street myself at my earlier years, of course I accept that. You know, I it's my obligation as an older person in the community. You know, it's my obligation to my younger brothers, like, to give them some wisdom and let them know, like, you know, this is not a time for that. Like, it's not a wartime, and basically what you're doing is you're going at each other. You know, you shouldn't be going at your brother, your cousin, your friends, or someone else's friends, because 9 times out of 10, you got to think of it this way. Whenever someone is in your circle or in your square, they've been invited by somebody you either know in this neighborhood. They're not coming here just for nothing. So if the tournament is being hosted by someone in your community, then that person that's coming there, you should play host to. You don't beat up the people that come to visit your apartment or visit your house. So why would you why would you beat up the people that's visiting your community? You play host, you make certain they're okay. Anybody you need anything from the store, you get you a store guy that's from this community, so they make them feel comfortable. Because that's what we used to do when I was coming up, and that's how my name, the mayor, was formed, because I would play host to all the many different people that came in my community. I wasn't just have family in one area. My family extended outside of the area, and I acted that way wherever I went. You know, so, you know, basically I tell the young people, don't just be tough in your community. Be tough outside the community. And the toughest way to do is trying to avoid stuff. That's being tough. Avoid the situation. And I tell them all the time, the guys in my community, man, every time somebody open a window, it doesn't mean jump out the window, you know.
EJ, basketball has evolved. Hollywood done took their stance. Give me your top 3 from 3, 2 to 1. What was your best basketball movie? Your top 3 basketball films.
Loving Basketball, I really liked that one because it was, you know, it was a decent movie made. I like that. The one with He's Got Game with Jesus Shuttleworth, Ray Allen, I like that one. Number 1 is He Got Game. Number 2 is Loving Basketball. And the third one, I'm not certain on the third one. I'm going to go with the comedy, Rebound, Martin Lawrence.